I'd like to introduce Hannah from England, who takes LDN for Parkinson's disease. Thank you for joining me, Hannah.
Thank you for having me.
Could you tell us when you first started to notice there was something wrong with you?
So, the first symptom I got was back in 1999 when I thought I'd hurt my elbow. I had what I think people call golfer's elbow, or it felt like that, and that was the first, and then after that I started having problems with my balance, and it was not until 2003, I think it was, that they actually decided that I had Parkinson's.
Mm-hmm. And how old were you, Hannah?
So back then I would have been 45, 46.
Okay. That's young, isn't it? Not that I know that much about Parkinson's disease, but I always think it's associated with older people. So when you were diagnosed, what medication were you given?
So I was given nothing at all because for a long while I was what they term in denial.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently I have to accept it before they could give me anything. So it was not until 2010 that I actually got levodopa, and that actually made a difference. Right.
Okay. So how was having Parkinson's impacting on your life at that time?
So by 2010 I was sitting in a wheelchair. I could barely walk.
Mm-hmm.
And levodopa got me out of the wheelchair again, but it didn't do much else.
Okay.
Other than get me to walk.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's quite a big deal, though, isn't it?
It is a very big deal because the world is not made for people in wheelchairs.
No, exactly. So, okay, we've got the picture here of what happened prior to LDN. How did you hear about LDN?
So there was an article, I think it's in the Daily Mail, about a lady with MS, I think it was, who described how she was taking it, and I happen to know that MS, Parkinson's and Alzheimer's are usually degenerative brain conditions, and they have share similarities.
Mm-hmm.
So I always check these things out and see if anybody else has, been thinking the same as I have, and looked up what everybody had been saying about LDN on the various websites, including Parkinson's UK, where there are a few people who have tried it as well. And on there, it seemed to suggest that it could help with my balance, which is a real big bug as far as I'm concerned, because you've always got to be aware of the possibility of falling backwards, which is, it stops you being quite as free with your movement as you might want to be. And that, plus the fact that it also seemed to promise that I would have better bladder control, were the two things that really got me interested in taking LDN, because they were, it was really annoying me. Mm-hmm. And well, the long and short is I found one of the doctors, I think it was via yourself, who prescribed it, and I've had an absolutely fantastic reaction.
Really? Okay. When did you start?
More than I expected.
Okay. When did you start LDN? Can you remember?
So that would be back, I think it was end of September last year.
Okay. And when you first started, did you have any initial side effects?
No, I haven't had side effects.
Okay. And how long did it take before you noticed these amazing
symptoms? Within a week I was aware that my balance was improving. I'm not back to my old self, but it seemed to stop the deterioration. I could walk down the stairs without sitting on my bum halfway down.
Well,
little things like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't rattling around the bathroom like some drunkard every time I had to go there.
And how is your bladder control now?
It is very much better. It is not back to what it was before Parkinson's, but it's almost as good as it was.
Wow, how about that? So, how would you sum up what LDN has done for you?
It's absolutely fantastic. It seems to keep improving things. As I think I said to you, I have now not had any more freezing spells for 6 months, which is amazing when you think of it. And I've got more stamina now than I have had for the last 6 years.
Wow. I mean, I take LDN for MS, and I continued improving for about 18 months. So you're relatively new on LDN, so let's hope that you continue improving as well.
Yeah, but nobody else seems to have had these sort of fantastic reactions that I have, which is quite surprising, I think, because I'm sure people would have shouted about.
There are people in America who take LDN for Parkinson's who have got similar stories to tell. Yes, it is absolutely amazing. Well, all I can say is thank you very much for sharing your inspirational story with us, Hannah, and maybe we can interview you again next year and to see how you're getting on.
Yes, that would be great. Yeah, thank you very much for being there. I don't think I'd have gotten anywhere if I hadn't come across yourselves.
Oh, it's very kind. Thank you.